Jungian psychologist James Hollis described the feeling of being drawn towards as the outer movement of the soul and coined the term the numinous, the etymology of which means to nod or beckon, stating that thus the soul beckons us even as we seek it. The numinous is the soul recognizing itself in the outer world, and we can feel this recognition through resonances in our mind and body. To follow these intuitions and feelings of excitement and captivation would eventually lead us closer towards truer vocation and a life that is more authentic to our own nature. And Dr. Hollis isn't the only one to describe recognizing soul outside of body. Describing the same phenomenon, mythologist Joseph Campbell urged us to follow our bliss, saying if you do follow your bliss, you put yourself on a kind of track that has been there all the while, waiting for you, and the life that you ought to be living is the one you are living. Going further, Campbell states, doors will open where you would not have thought there would be doors, and where there wouldn't be a door for anyone else. Dr. Campbell highlights the uniqueness of our journeys and the creative potential waiting to be expressed through us and our lives. 13th century Persian poet and mystic Rumi said, "What you seek is seeking you, and the soul has been given its own ears to hear things the mind does not understand." To ignore these beckonings from the soul is to err in avoidance, and invite distraction, delusion, and neurotic suffering into your life. To ignore your personal experience and intuitions is the deflection of personal authority and our further alienation from the mystery of ourselves and this life. We ought to understand a resonant encounter with the numinous as something profound. We ought to view this resonance as the key to recognizing our soul's movement outside our body. Though the resonance being described here isn't to be confused with other lesser emotions and feelings. This resonance is not anxiety or anticipation. This resonance is not egoic idolization or placating comfort. It is not the desire for praise or hedonic escapism. The resonance that helps us identify soul outside of body could be active engagement, accompanied by a sense of abiding stillness and peace. It could be the feeling of a slow-burning rapture as you read a novel that fully captures your mind, body, and spirit. It could be a deep longing for a particular vocation, an art form, or the sense of community so often stripped bare from modern life and its pedantic preoccupations. However, it is most likely that any resonance you might encounter will be muddied and mixed with other emotions, associations, and external pressures. You may fantasize about working remotely from Bali, but come to find that this was a desire for escapism, rather than a resonance calling you towards an enlarged life. You may fancy becoming a singer-songwriter, but come to find that you are merely seeking validation, rather than following an earnest calling towards making music. The more emotionally and psychologically unbalanced we are, and the more external life puts pressures on us, the harder it will be to recognize and react to genuine resonance in a meaningful way. The more unbalanced we are, the more likely we will be misled by seeking psychological recompensation in the outer world through relationships, jobs, and other vehicles for the energies of our own complexes. Most people will spend their entire lives without any real clarity, as they do their best to navigate a sticky and complex life and negotiate their own psychological profile. And so it is. But I earnestly hope that whoever is listening to this will begin to ask themselves larger questions and patiently listen to their body and mind over time for answers, all the while making space in their busy lives for a bit of quiet where resonance might occur, and they might just encounter the movement of their own soul in the outer world.